Ever thought a simple act of kindness could change everything? A waitress had no clue that a billionaire was watching her every move. What he saw that day would turn her world upside down, and her life would never be the same. This story is proof that kindness can truly change your fate. Lily Harper was a 23-year-old girl with big dreams, but a life that wasn't easy. She worked tirelessly at Rosie's Diner, a small rundown restaurant in New York City. The peeling walls and dim neon open sign reflected not just the state of the diner, but also her life. Yet every day, Lily greeted everyone with a warm smile and genuine kindness. Lily didn't just stand out because of her dedication to her job, but also because of her big heart. After every shift, she would gather leftover food and give it to the homeless people she passed on her way home. To Lily, it was just a small act of kindness, but to those she helped, it was a lifeline. One rainy night, the city streets were cold and unforgiving. Lily hurried home, clutching her thin jacket tightly against the chill. Then, she noticed a small figure curled up under a bus stop shelter. It was a boy, no older than 8, shivering in the rain, his clothes soaked through. "Hey there," Lily said gently as she knelt down beside him. "Are you okay? Where are your parents?" The boy looked up at her with frightened, tired eyes. "I don't have anyone," he whispered. "I'm hungry." Without hesitation, Lily took his cold little hand and led him back to the diner. The rain soaked them both, but she didn't care. Once inside, she wrapped him in a warm blanket and served him a steaming bowl of soup. As the boy ate, his face lit up, and for the first time that night, Lily felt a sense of warmth in her chest, despite the chill. What Lily didn't know was that someone had been watching her. Across the street, in a sleek black car, sat James Dalton, a billionaire known for his sharp business acumen. James had been driving through the quiet streets, trying to clear his mind after a stressful day, but then he saw her. At first, it was just curiosity, a young woman kneeling in the rain next to a homeless boy. But as he watched her take the boy to the diner and care for him, he couldn't look away. "Who is she?" James murmured to himself, his gaze fixed on the diner. Her selflessness struck a deep chord within him, something he hadn't felt in years. For days, James couldn't shake the memory of the girl in the rain. Her kindness and sincerity stayed with him. Finally, he decided to go back to the small diner. That evening, dressed in an immaculate suit, James walked into Rosie's Diner. The soft chime of the doorbell caught Lily's attention. She was balancing a tray of dishes, her hair slightly frizzy from the humidity, but her smile was just as radiant as ever. "Welcome to Rosie's. Sit wherever you'd like," she said warmly, her voice filled with kindness despite the fatigue in her eyes. James chose a corner booth, quietly watching her as she worked. She treated every customer with the same compassion he had witnessed that rainy night. She helped an elderly man count his change, offered a free coffee refill to a struggling mother, and even paused to check on a regular customer who seemed unusually quiet. Every interaction confirmed what James already knew: this woman was extraordinary. When his meal was done, James quietly handed Lily the bill and walked out. But beneath his plate, he left an envelope. Lily didn't notice it until she was clearing the table. Inside was a stack of crisp bills, far more than a regular tip. Her hands trembled as she counted the money, her mind racing with questions. Who was this man? Why did he leave so much? The next morning, Lily returned to work, still thinking about the mysterious stranger. By midday, the diner door opened again. This time, a sharply dressed man stepped inside. His tailored suit and polished shoes stood out among the casual crowd, but his gaze was fixed on her. The hostess walked over to Lily and whispered, "That gentleman asked for you to serve him." Heart pounding, Lily approached his table, unsure of what to expect. Little did she know her life was about to change in ways she could never imagine. If you find these stories inspiring and they motivate you to take action, please comment 9. If not, comment 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time. Lily glanced at the man with a mix of surprise and curiosity. At first, she couldn't place him, but as their eyes met, a faint spark of familiarity tugged at her memory. The man smiled warmly, his expression lingering as though he was trying to read her thoughts. Brushing aside the peculiar feeling, Lily approached his table, her notepad and pen ready. "Good afternoon," she greeted him in her usual cheerful tone. "What can I get for you today?" The man hesitated for a brief moment, then replied, "I'll have the special, but only if you promise to sit down for coffee with me later." Lily blinked, caught off guard by his unexpected request. "Oh, I'm sorry," she said with a polite laugh. "I don't usually take breaks during my shift. Is there anything else I can get you?" He chuckled softly. Just the special for now, he said, handing back the menu. As Lily walked away, a strange feeling lingered. There was something about him, his tone, his gaze that felt familiar and out of place. She tried to shake it off and return to her tasks. Throughout the meal, the man watched her closely, not in a way that made her uncomfortable, but with quiet admiration. He noticed the way she treated every customer with patience and care, her smile unwavering even in the middle of the lunchtime rush. She moved with grace, balancing trays and offering kind words to everyone, even those who seemed irritable or unkind. It was clear to him, Lily wasn't just hardworking, she was extraordinary. When she brought him the bill, the man reached for his wallet. Just as Lily was about to step away, he stopped her. "Wait," he said gently. "There's something I'd like to ask you." Lily tilted her head slightly, curious. "Yes?" The man leaned forward, his expression softening. "Do you remember helping a man on the street last week? Someone who looked like he had nowhere else to turn?" Her eyes widened in surprise. "Yes, I do," she said slowly. "But how do you know about that?" He smiled, a knowing look in his eyes. "I happened to witness it. I saw how you gave him not just food, but also dignity. Most people would have walked by, pretending not to see. But you stopped." Lily felt her cheeks flush. "It was nothing, really. He needed help, and I just did what felt right. Not everyone would have done that," he said, his voice firm. He pulled a small envelope from his jacket and handed it to her along with the bill. "This is for you. Open it after I leave." Confused but too polite to refuse, Lily took the envelope and watched as the man stood, offered her a parting smile, and walked out of the restaurant. Unable to contain her curiosity, Lily opened the envelope. Inside was a check for $50,000. Her hands trembled as she read the handwritten note tucked inside. "Your kindness inspired me. Use this to build the future you've dreamed of." A grateful stranger. Her heart pounded as she clutched the check. Rushing outside, she scanned the street for any sign of him, but he had disappeared. That night, in her tiny apartment, she stared at the note, her mind a whirlwind of questions. Who was he? Why would he do something so extraordinary for her? As days turned into weeks, Lily's life began to change. The money allowed her to pay off debts and start saving for her dream, opening a small cafe where anyone, regardless of their circumstances, could find warmth, kindness, and a good meal. Yet she couldn't stop thinking about the stranger who had made it all possible. Then one evening, as she was walking home, a sleek car pulled up beside her. The window rolled down, and there he was, the man from the restaurant. "I've been hoping to run into you," he said with a smile. Lily froze, her heart racing. "It's you. Why did you do this? Who are you?" Stepping out of the car, he extended a hand. "My name is Andrew Hale. I run a company called Hale Enterprises." Her jaw dropped. Andrew Hale was a name she had heard before. He was one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the country. "I didn't tell you who I was because I wanted to see the real you," he explained. "I've spent my life building wealth, but seeing your selflessness reminded me of what truly matters. You inspired me." Tears welled in Lily's eyes as she struggled to find words. "But I'm just a waitress," she said softly. Andrew shook his head. "You're far more than that. You have a heart that money can't buy. The world needs more people like you, and I believe in you." He handed her another envelope. "This is the deed to a cafe downtown. It's yours now. You think of it as an investment in someone who deserves it." Lily's tears spilled over as she tried to refuse, but Andrew held up a hand. "You just promised me one thing," he said. "Keep being the person who inspired me. Keep helping others." From that day on, Lily's life was forever changed. Her cafe became a beacon of hope, a place where kindness and generosity thrived. And though she never fully understood why fate had brought Andrew Hale into her life, she knew one thing for certain. Even the smallest act of kindness could ripple outward, touching lives in ways she could never have imagined. Lily's story is a powerful reminder that kindness can change everything. What started as a simple act of compassion turned into a life-changing moment, showing us how even the smallest gestures can have a big impact. You never know who's watching, and you never know how your actions might shape someone's future. If this story inspired you, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep spreading kindness and making the world a better place, one small act at a time.